So my name is Brina, and originally I'm from Slovenia, but I moved to London 6 years ago. And I think people know me most because I'm teaching heels classes.
Welcome to Studio Sessions, a video series for creative performers. Each week we go behind the scenes on the shoots and sit down with guests to discuss their careers, the creative industry, and share the lessons they've learned along the way.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
How's your day been today?
Good. And very productive because we just had a photo shoot.
Yeah. From Slovenia, what does that look like kind of growing up there, and what does the dance scene look like over there?
Growing up in Slovenia was really nice because there's a lot of nature, and like just as a kid I think it's really good to be surrounded by nature, you know, like natural things, not just like buildings and concrete. So I think my growing up was really nice because of that, even though I always wanted to, you know, I was like, I wish I would be born in LA. But now thinking about it, thank God that I wasn't. But then seeing in Slovenia, like talent there is crazy, but we just don't have that many opportunities. And sadly, like even like if I talk about like rehearsal settings and everything in Slovenia, it's not paid. So dancers do rehearsals for like a whole month and they don't get paid.
So how do you kind of balance that then in terms of like living costs? And
I know a few of my friends that are doing it because it's also the only thing that you can do then in Slovenia. Some of them have like regular jobs next to it, but it's really hard because if you have rehearsals like 6 hours per day, you can't really have a job. So it's just like mostly living like paycheck to paycheck. Yeah.
And so like when you first started, what kind of age were you and what was the kind of thing that got you into dance?
So I remember I was always like jumping around. Like the teachers in kindergarten, they used to call me like, you know, that ball that like bounces
like
from the
ball.
They were calling me this, like skokica is in Slovene. Because it's always like bouncing around, and I just had a lot of energy. And then I think I was 6, and in school, you know, they came like, oh, we have dance lessons. And I went, and it was like this, you know, this dance. And then I started doing actually Latin and ballroom after that, and I did it for 6 years. Also compete. And after that, I started with like all the street styles, like hip hop, commercial, jazz.
And what was it about dance that you enjoyed doing, and what kind of made you want to keep doing it?
I honestly, if I'm honest, I don't remember what made me keep doing it. I think I just loved it so much, like that expression through movement. And always you're surrounded by friends. But like I don't remember like that thing that I would be like, okay, this is what I'm gonna continue. I think it was just fun, you know.
And like, how does it go from being fun into something that you're like, oh, I see a potential career in this, especially if there's kind of not much of an industry where you're from?
I think because I was always watching dancers on YouTube and seeing that LA dancers, you know, traveling around the world teaching. So I remember I always in my mind, I was like, I want to do this. And then I started teaching, I think I was 15, like kids. And like I assisted my dance teachers. And I just loved it since like the first time I did it, I really liked teaching. And I have a feeling that I can connect to people through that. And
what is it about teaching that you really kind of like found a connection with?
I think it's when you see that people are grateful that you're there and that you're teaching them. And then for me, the best feeling is when you see improvement in students. That I think, especially if you have like regulars, and that you can see that they are learning from you and they're growing from your material. I think this is like a really nice feeling.
I love that. So going on to the looks from today, what was the first look and what made you bring that?
So first one, I don't know if you know artist Nati Peluso. She's Spanish artist. And I saved this picture that I sent also to you with that red tights already a long time ago. And I always liked it, but I never did it for like other photo shoots. And then I went through my saved stuff on Instagram and I found this one. I was like, yes. And then I went on ASOS, ordered the tights, top I already had. And then I was just like, I think it will look cool on like for pictures.
Oh, it looks so good. And I feel like this is one where I love it when I can kind of like pair and kind of like the lighting and stuff to whatever the outfit was, and like the little pop of red in this, like people will see it coming up now, and it's just like, I just loved it so much. And kind of back to what you were saying before there, like I was listening to something yesterday, and it's kind of really talking about having a bank of inspiration, where if you ever need something, every time you see something that interests you, add that into that little bank, like add it to your saved folder, pin it on Pinterest, like, and then you can just draw from that any moment. I think it's really good to kind of build that, because you never know what's going to happen. You don't know what you're going to have to choreograph. You don't know what you're going to... When as soon as someone's like, have you got an idea for this? You can go back to the bank of things that you like, which is always like a really nice way to pull from.
And it's really normal to lose inspiration. But I have a feeling there's so much pressure that like you should always bring like the best choreo, the best photos, the best outfits. But of course, at some point, you can't just keep providing. So I think, what you said, it's really good to like keep saving these things and then make it in your own way.
100%. Yeah. What do you use for inspiration, and what inspires you?
I would say the most feelings. Like I know it's heels and mostly it's like sensual and sexy, but I still try to turn it. Like I remember once I was really angry and then I went and I created one choreo on Travis Scott, I Know, and it's like a full out song and a bit more with like not angry energy, but more like attacking energy.
It's got like an aggression to it.
Yeah. So it was just like a release of that anger for me. Or if I feel like now, let's say when it's sunny outside, I did a recent choreo that it's that one, My Neck, My Back. And then it's like full out, like the beats are like you can hear everything, and I think it just lifts up your mood. Or if I'm sad, I'm gonna do a bit more like sad song, emotional. So I think emotions.
It's almost like your choreo is like a diary of your life.
Yes, I think if you go through my Instagram, if you see a sad song, you're gonna know something happened in my life that made me sad. Yeah.
So kind of like talking about your life there, kind of like going back to the moment when you were like, actually, I feel like I am going to do this as a career.
Yeah.
What was it that inspired you specifically to kind of like take that leap into going full time?
So when I moved here to London, I didn't really have like a clear vision what I want. Even like my dance friends were asking me like, what's your plan? And I was like, I don't know. I'm literally moving there like with intention to build my dance career, but I don't know in which way it's gonna go. So I moved here and then I was taking as much classes as possible. I was always creating on the side. And then I started teaching at the Hub. And I started my class 0 people. For half a year, it was just me and my friend Leia that used to live here. But something always kept me going, like, I want to do it. Even if it was like 0 people, I stayed there and I was creating or like dancing for myself. Or even if it was like 3 people, I was still teaching, like the room is full of people. Like I gave them my all. I think just because I love it, but it was never like with that intention, it needs to be a career. So I think it just happened like spontaneously. I think
that's a really nice way for things to grow, when it's like, even if the room is empty, you will still be there doing it. I feel like that really, if you can find something in your life that kind of has that feeling to it, I feel like keep doing that, like go all in on that, because I feel like if you keep giving it that passion, you will fill that room. Yeah. And how was it you kind of went from a room of 3 people to now like really bigger classes?
I think just consistency. Yeah, because like I said, even if I had 3 people, I didn't stop, even though I had doubts. I was like, why am I doing this? No one comes to class. But then I think when I started at bass, because bass at that time was well known and a lot of people came, I think with that, more people got the opportunity to get to know me, like through classes. And then I got booked by my very good friend Danny from Berlin for his Heels Intensive. And a lot of foreign people came on that intensive and a lot of foreign teachers. And after that intensive, I just kept getting booked for like international workshops. And now it's honestly every weekend I'm in a different country. Yeah.
Do you think you would have got booked for that if you hadn't have consistently done those classes?
No, because you need to, with things like this, you need to be consistent and you need to show to people what you're doing. And that's why I think especially these days Instagram is your CV. So if someone goes on your profile, they need to see what they could get from you. Yeah, so one choreo on your profile, it's not enough.
100%.
You know? I think everyone can do like one good choreo, but like to stay consistent, I think that's where the hard part is.
I feel like in consistency, I feel like in today's world is super rare for people to be like really consistent all the time. And I feel like when you're doing something creative, especially kind of like in the dance world, that consistency is like, is someone going to go to a person who's ever going to do one class? If you know that person's going to be there for you every single week, it's almost like a relationship. Like you want someone who's always going to be there for you, that you can always go to, you can grow with, rather than just, oh, that's going to happen one time.
And I know a lot of actually people that I know, like they started teaching, but then because people didn't come, you know, for like 2 months, they stopped. But I always keep telling, like, for half a year, no one came to my class. So it takes time to build something like this, especially I have a feeling if you're a foreigner coming to a different country, you need to understand no one knows you. And people, I think, are not just gonna come to your class from like first look of your Instagram. I think they need to, again, see consistency and be like, okay, he is good, let's go try it.
And I suppose it's building reputation as well, because I suppose as soon as one person's come and they enjoyed it, they'll tell their friends, and their friends are probably in the industry as well, and it will kind of just like grow and grow and grow from there.
That's why I have a feeling you, like I said, even if it's 3, 1 or 2 people in your class, I think you should still teach with the same energy as the room is full of people.
100%, because if you don't give that energy, that person's leaving and not telling anyone.
Of
so
course.
the only way it can grow is by giving all the energy like all the time. So moving on to the second look from today, what was that? What made you bring that?
So basically you inspired it because you sent me photos that you liked. And then I always like creating with like tights, because first of all, it's cheap. And I think it looks cool when you like layer them on, like we did, like do holes in it. And I did in the past, like for dance videos, this kind of stuff. So I was like, okay, let me try. And then I brought 2 pairs. And,
I feel like this, as soon as you put this on, it gave me video vibes. I was like, like it feels like a full concept. Like, and I feel like that's a really important thing to think about when it comes to your portfolio as well. Is like having, if you want to get booked for dance videos, look like you're in a dance video. And like try and show that in some way.
And I think also different personalities, like that it's not just like hip hop vibes, and that it's not just like heels and sexy, but you're trying to bring, I mean, my photos are mostly just heels, but
but I suppose if that's kind of what you predominantly do, then it's kind of, I suppose if you understand the route you're taking, where your skill set lies, it's really important to build a portfolio around the things that are you. Because if you suddenly were like, oh, I'm going to go completely off style, like, are you going to be booked for those jobs?
That's why I think you need to also know what you want to sell. Like, I know hip hop, but I would never want to get booked for it because I know I'm not there. So I'm not going to have like hip hop in my, what's the word? That video that you sent to agencies.
Show reel.
Yeah, I wouldn't have like hip hop in like show reel or like very hip hop clothes like for photo shoot, because that's not me.
I think that's something really interesting to talk about as well, is because like I was talking to a choreographer recently who was like casting for a show, and he was saying to me that like so many show reels got sent in and it was a very jazz heavy show, yet people were sending like hip hop videos and things that were just so not linked to that style of stuff. So I think it's always really important to understand who is on the other side of the screen and making sure you're kind of focusing on them. Back to what we were talking about earlier about kind of how you create. I feel like creativity is something that needs to be in more dancers' arsenal. I feel like a lot of people come and will just repeat the choreo back to someone, but actually creating something yourself, I feel like is super important.
Yeah, but I think it's really hard to be creative and like different with each and every choreo, because like we talked before, like you run out of ideas. That's why for me what helps the most, it's like emotions and then different song. So it's not, you know, like if my style is, let's say, it used to be very like soft and sensual, but at some point I was like, okay, it's enough, like I need something else. So then I switched to a bit more different style just to switch the moves. And I feel like my style now compared to like 2 years ago, it's totally different. And then you also need to keep taking classes, because a lot of teachers, they stop taking classes, and I think it brings down even more like the inspiration.
Yeah, I feel like if you almost think of your inspiration as like a bucket,
Yeah,
and there's like if you just
keep
if you keep going from it,
yeah.
it'll just end up dry, and you'll be like, then it's more of an effort to fill it. Whereas if you're constantly always filling that bucket, then you've always got something to take from. When you're putting, like, because you do have to create so consistently, do you have kind of a method for trying to come up with something within the time period you have? So
sometimes it even happened. I went to the studio, I cried because I was like, I don't like anything. But also I'm an overthinker and I'm a perfectionist. Mm-hmm. So if I don't like that move, I'm not going to continue. So it helped me to be less strict towards my choreos, my movement. And sometimes I literally need to say to myself, Brina, don't overthink. It's fine. Yeah, but I'm struggling with that because I'm like, every choreo needs to be perfect, so I like it.
Yeah.
But then a lot of times it happens that I went to the studio and I was like, okay, just put moves together. People like that choreos the most. And I didn't like them.
I feel like you've not overthought that as much.
Yeah.
And I think that's something to think about as well, is like understanding the audience as well, and like realizing that actually if you spent 80% of time on something compared to 100% of the time, to other people that's exactly the same thing. And sometimes just taking that step back a little bit and being kind of understanding that's good enough.
Yeah.
Otherwise you can just spend your whole life kind of like trying to find the perfect thing.
It's very obvious that not every choreo can be the best choreo that you ever created. It's not, I think it's not human. I don't know.
Definitely not. Moving on to the third look from today, what was that and what made you bring that?
So again, you inspired me with that pictures that you sent me.
Yeah.
And it was the Kylie Jenner picture with that baggy pants and like white top. Yeah. And I had like normal white tops at home, but it felt a bit basic to me. So I was like, okay, let me try to play around. And I just grabbed another white shirt and somehow like pull it over. I like tuck it in and then I like it.
I feel like it worked really well because the trousers kind of had like a thing on the side. It was almost like taking the top idea and matching that up a little to bring it into like a full cohesive look. And
I have a feeling with photo shoots, a lot of things that wouldn't make sense like in normal life, for photos, they will be sick.
Yeah, I feel like it is that just pushing something a little bit past what's normal. Instead of one top, two tops in a different way. It's like, it's almost like kind of showing your creativity within the outfits as well as, because like I suppose in a photo shoot you can't perform, but that's almost like a way to bring a bit of your personality like back into it. So how would you say your style's developed like over the years?
So I think Latin and ballroom definitely have an effect on my movement because I love hands. And in Latin, there's a lot of like elegant, like shoulders down, long neck. And then hip hop definitely doesn't. I mean, maybe.
It's probably like an element of it.
Element, but I wouldn't call it hip hop. I think because I did a lot of styles, especially as a teenager, I think they're definitely in my choreos. That's why a lot of time people tell me I never know what you're gonna create, because I have a feeling, because I'm always mixing those styles, it's always something not new, but like I'm trying to play around with them. I'm not trying to stick just to like one style.
So that's a really nice compliment. So if someone wanted to develop their own style, what would your recommendation be?
I would say freestyle. Because I remember during lockdown especially, there was like online classes, but I never really took them. And so I just went to the studio, I booked it, and I was just freestyling. And I have a feeling, especially that time during lockdown, I developed my style like a lot more than like before. So I'd say freestyle, because then with freestyle, your body really moves like whatever comes out.
That's super interesting. I feel like that just makes so much sense. Because then it's like, your body's going to move the way that it wants to move. And I suppose as well, like, it's interesting when we were talking about how I got into kind of photo shoots and kind of how I like to pose people. I used to kind of get people to freestyle or kind of do a bit of choreo they knew, and I'd find little shapes within that. And I suppose if you film yourself freestyling, you can find little moments that you like and be like, oh, I'll keep that bit, you keep that bit.
I always used to film myself, and sometimes even if we go back to like how to get inspired, sometimes I played a song and I freestyled 3 times to it, or how many times I needed, filmed it, and then the parts that I liked, I put it into choreo.
Love.
Which again, yeah, it helps you just give ideas. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like super good advice. When you first moved to London, what was it kind of like arriving in a new country, not knowing anyone, and then realizing I have to make this work?
I still remember when I landed with like 3 suitcases that were bigger and heavier than me. I didn't have any data. So I just remember I came out of, I think it was Gatwick, I think so. And I was just like, what the fuck did I just do? Because I also moved very fast. Like I planned it, but it was like in about 3 months, I just like decided that I don't want to live in Slovenia. And then 3 months after I moved. And then, this was just my first thought. I was like, what the fuck did I do? But I felt so relieved. Yeah, and like excited. But I didn't know what's gonna happen. Yeah.
And what did that first few months of being here look like?
I loved it. I saved money in Slovenia, and then I was like, okay, first I need to get a job. I didn't get a job for like a month. And I spent everything. Because like the stores that they have here in London, in Slovenia, we don't have it. So I was shopping like crazy. And then I remember I needed to pay my rent. I went on ATM and it was like £10. And I was like, oh. So this was the first time that my parents needed to help me. And the last time, after that, I was like, Brina, you need to get your shit together. I found a job, retail, full-time. But then every time after the shift, classes, 2 classes, 1. Yeah, I don't know how I did it. Now I would die. But I think that, you know, when you move to a new city and everything is exciting, if I would sleep 1 hour per day, it would be fine. Yeah.
And what would your advice be to anyone who is thinking about moving to London? Yeah,
I would say try it, but be prepared that it's not all like, you know, rainbows and flowers. And I also know personally a lot of people that I know moved back home because I think it is a struggle money-wise first. And I think the struggle is you need to have a normal job and then dance on the side at the beginning. But then you also don't know if dance is going to open so much that you can live full-time from it. So I think it's always good to like be a bit more open and not just be like, okay, I need to make it as a dancer, because then I think you put a lot of pressure on it, and then when it doesn't happen in like 3 months, 2 months, you're like, what the fuck? And it takes time, you know, to build this kind of careers.
Yeah, I think going into something not expecting it to happen instantly and thinking it is going to be a slow progression, and like even if it's going to take 2 years before it's even 50-50, but go into it with that mindset, because if it happens quicker, it happens quicker. But I think if you go into the mindset of I'm going to go there and then within 3 months everything's going to be sorted, I feel like that's it'll be a shock.
No, it's a bit unrealistic, especially if you don't have a name like in the industry from before. It's really hard.
Yeah. So going on to the fourth and final look from today, what was that and what made you bring that?
The brown one, what actually inspired it? Oh, I think I had a picture saved in my on my Instagram, and the girl was wearing like, it wasn't brown, it was more beige, and she layered it with like a top and like shorts. And then at home I was just like cutting the tights, putting it on, and then just with my friend, I was before in Primark and I bought like a brown set, and then I put it on and I was like, okay, let me try to like cut something out, and then that was it. I think I was just playing around to see. Yeah.
I feel like the idea of play, I think, is so important. And I feel like that kind of comes through like your choreography, through the kind of like learning stuff, and then through all the outfits from today as well. How important is it to not, obviously you are a perfectionist, but how important is it to just like play and kind of like mess around?
I think just to leave that space for fun. Again, like let's say what I had in my mind with these tights, they're cheap. They were like £2 each pair. So I was like, okay, it's not that big of a deal if I'm gonna fuck it up. I still have a whole wardrobe, I'm gonna find something. So I think it was, again, that like not putting that pressure on it, like I need to make an outfit out of this, but it was just more like, okay, let's try it and then let's see. First, when I did it, I didn't even like it. I was like, I'm not sure. And then I took a picture, and then I was looking at the picture and I was like, okay, this could actually look sick. Yeah.
I feel like that works really well back to everything else you've talked about before as well, like just filming and documenting stuff. Because I feel like sometimes what we see in our heads is very different to what we see in person. What does the future hold for you?
God knows. Currently, like just a lot of teaching internationally. The plan is to also go to Asia, a bit overseas. But just teaching, because I think that's my first love.
Yeah.
And then I would also love to get more into like movement directing, especially for females, because I have a feeling I know how to make a woman look good, just like sitting down, just like, shoulder back, shoulder down, point your toes. I would love to try that.
Have you done any of that so far?
I did it a few times, but I would love to like FK Twigs. That would be a dream, because she's a good dancer.
Yeah.
Or like Doja Cat, I would die. But I have this kind of people could do actually my choreos. I don't think I would need to make it easier. Yeah. I think they could easily do it, but even if they're not a dancer, with easy movement, you can still make the artist look really nice.
And how important is it to have goals?
I think it's very important, but like we were talking before with the outfits, I think you should be open that life is not going to always bring you to that goal that you have it in your head, because you never know what life brings you. So I have a feeling it's good to have it and to work towards it, but to keep in mind that even if it doesn't happen, there's other options.
Yeah.
Because even like my mom, sometimes it's like, oh, what if you injure yourself, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's like, I hope it doesn't happen. But then I told her, if like I can teach anymore, like dance, I think I would go more into like maybe open a studio or things like that, that you're still in the creative industry around dancers. Like, I don't think I would die if I would need to stop dancing. It would be very devastating, but I think there's always something else you can do.
Love that. So if you could go back and talk to your like 6-year-old self just starting to dance, what would your advice be to her?
Just move wherever you want to move. Try new things. Believe in yourself, because there's a lot of people on the way you meet that are trying to bring you down. So just say like, stay true to yourself, believe in yourself, and just dance because you love it.
I love that. And for anyone who kind of feels like people are trying to bring them down around them, what would your advice be to them?
Fuck them. Literally, because I had a lot of people telling me things that I'm not gonna succeed when I move to London, blah, blah, blah. But my mom was always like, you'll see, I will. Just because you said it, I'm gonna make it. So I have a feeling you just need to ignore those people, because I think it comes out of jealousy, because they can't do it. I think it's always,
Boom. Well, thank you so much for this.
No, thank you for having me. I loved it.
Boom!
Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this episode, please share it. If you want to see more of these, click subscribe. And if you've got any questions or anything you want to ask, just drop them in the comments below. See you in the next session.